Welcome back to the Runner Soul, where running meets science stride by stride. This is episode 3, and I'm Sharon, your resident podiatrist, runner, and unapologetic foot nerd. If you tuned in to the last episode, we dug into something that every runner eventually faces: injuries. So we unpacked the 5 most common running injuries I see in the clinic, why they happen, and how to spot them before they sideline you. So let's begin. Today we're switching gears and talking about something you interact with on every single run: your shoes. Now, this is one of the most debated topics in the running community. I've seen friendships nearly end over whether barefoot running is the pure way or whether carbon-plated shoes are the future. I've seen runners spend $300, $500 on the latest model and still end up with sore knees and injuries.
Ouch!
And I've seen people run entire marathons in basic trainers from the discount rack from Kmart without a single blister. So, today we're going to get real. And we'll talk about what makes a good shoe good and why it's not the same for everybody. When inserts and orthotics are game changers and when they are just expensive fillers. How to make sense of the barefoot and minimalist running movement without wrecking your feet in the process, and the top mistakes runners make when buying shoes, and some success stories from runners, both elite and everyday, who got it right. By the end, you'll have a framework for choosing, testing, and rotating your shoes so that they work with your body and not against it. So whether you're lacing up for your first 5K, training for an ultra, or just looking for pain-free park runs, this episode is definitely for you. So let's talk about shoe basics, because it's more than just cushioning. Here's the first truth bomb. The most expensive shoe in the store isn't automatically the best shoe for you. A running shoe is like a tailored suit. It should fit your body, your style, and your purpose. A $350 or $500 super shoe might make sense for an elite marathoner chasing seconds, but it might wreck the knees of a casual runner who trains twice a week. When I'm helping runners in the clinic pick shoes, here's my checklist. So, number 1, it must have a stable heel counter. That firm section at the back keeps your heel from wobbling. If it's floppy, your rear foot is going to be unstable, which can contribute to ankles problems, plantar fascia problems, and knee issues. The second thing that's important is the midsole cushioning that matches your mileage and terrain. So if it's too soft and you sink, then you can overwork your stabilizing muscles. If it's too firm and you feel every pebble, which can then lead to stress injuries and fractures. And thirdly, if the shoe is too roomy, it's got a roomy toe box, then your toes need space to spread when you land. Cram toes mean blisters, black toenails, nails falling off, and potential bunion aggravation. The fourth one is heel to toe drop that fits your mechanics. So if it's too high, and it can then overload your knees, if it's too low, then it can overload your calves, especially if you're not used to it. I once had a patient training for a half marathon in an ultra minimalist racing flats because, quote, they made me feel fast. Problem was, his calves weren't conditioned for that much load. Within weeks, he had Achilles tendinopathy. He lost 6 weeks of training right before his race. So here's a takeaway. It's not about the shoe alone, it's about how your foot and the shoe work together. So let's move on to common shoe buying mistakes and myths. Before we move on, let's bust some shoe buying myths that I hear all the time. Okay, the first one. The higher the cushioning, the better for your joints. Not always. Excessive cushioning can actually increase instability and loading forces. The next one. If it works for my friend, it'll work for me. Nope. Your gait, your body weight, and your foot shape and mechanics are different to everybody else's. Next one I hear all the time is lightweight shoes make you faster. Well, only if you're conditioned for them. Otherwise, they can make you injured faster too. The other myth we hear is breaking in shoes means that they should feel stiff at first. Wrong. They should feel comfortable right away. One of the biggest mistakes is buying based on color, price, and I know it's tempting to match your shorts, but your feet don't care about your outfit. They care about the support, the fit, and the function. So now we'll talk about rotating shoes and finding your fit. If you run more than 3 days a week, here's a hack that can save you from overuse injuries. And that's a simple thing like rotate your shoes. And why, you might ask? Well, each shoe model loads your body slightly different. So rotating 2 or 3 pairs changes the stress points and reduces repetitive strain on the same tissues and muscles. So here's pro tips when shopping. Shop at the end of the day because that's when your feet are going to be at their biggest because your feet swell throughout the day. So by the afternoon, that's as big as your feet's going to get. Also, bring your old shoes because the wear patterns tell your running story. And you probably find, your wear patterns, if you turn them upside down, look in the sole, you probably see that like one side of the heel is a little bit worn than the others. So, each pair of shoes, it's like a fingerprint. Each pair of shoes is individual to you and each pair of shoes tell their own story. Also, try to get a gait analysis if you can. Ideally from a podiatrist or a specialized running store. But just be careful because you have to remember when you go to a store, they are salespeople. So they want to sell the shoes that they have in store. So just be a little bit careful. Also, break them in gradually. So don't take a new pair straight into a 20K marathon. Just get used to them a little bit first before you do that amount of miles. So I'm going to tell you about a case study of mine. So one of my marathon clients alternated between a maximum cushion trainer and a lightweight tempo shoe. So she stayed injury-free. Wow. And her training partner used one shoe model for everything. By week 8, knee pain ended his training cycle. So it's just a little tip, but it does make a whole lot of difference. So let's discuss orthotics. Do you actually need them? That is the question. So orthotics for a lot of people are not just arch supports. They do change how your foot loads. So they can help if you have reoccurring overuse injuries, you overpronate or supinate excessively, you have structural quirks like flat feet or bunions, or you've got a stubborn injury that's not improving with rehab. So, saying that, you probably don't need them if you're injury-free, asymptomatic, your foot structure is neutral, and you just want them just in case. So think of orthotics like prescription glasses. They're life-changing if you need them, but pointless if you don't. So let's discuss the barefoot debate. Barefoot running can straighten your feet, change your stride, and reduce certain injuries, but it can also cause others. So the risks to running barefoot is stress fractures, Achilles tendinopathy, and calf strains. So if you want to try it, I'd give you these little tips. So firstly, start with short walks and then progress to short runs on grass. Then gradually build mileage over a few months. Strengthen your calves, your arches, and your toes before increasing the load. Now, you might find that you will get more callus on your feet for sure. But most modern feet are deconditioned. So jumping straight into barefoot is like going from 0 to 100 in the gym. So proceed with caution. So this new segment is about you pro athletes. So I'm going to give you some insights. So elite runners have shoe strategies too. Many train in heavier shoes to build strength and then race in lightweight or carbon plated models. They also get custom orthotics to fit their exact biomechanics. But here's the key. They don't wear the same shoe every day, and they listen to their bodies first and then trend second. So here's a rapid fire listener question and answer. Okay, so the first one.
Should I size up for running shoes?
So the answer is usually buy a half size to allow for swelling. Second question.
Do socks really matter?
Yes, the answer is yes. Good technical socks prevent blisters. And ideally, you want something that is, breathable, and that's natural, like bamboo or cotton. Here's the next question.
How often should I be replacing my shoes?
Well, we say every 500 to 800 kilometers, depending on wear and tear, or within a year, whichever comes sooner. So let's do a shoe and insert self-check. Here's a quick at-home audit. So first thing, do your shoes have firm heel counters? Good, great. Do they flex at the forefoot? Yes, great. And that's really important for toe off. They shouldn't really bend in the middle. If they bend in the middle, then they probably don't have enough support. Is there an even wear pattern? Great. Do the one-leg squat without ankle collapse. If you can do this, yay, you're golden. Well, guys, unfortunately, episode 3 has come to an end. So that's a wrap from me. Whether you found your perfect shoe, invested in custom inserts, or decided to keep it simple, remember, your footwear, it's just the starting line. In our next episode, From the Ground Up, Building Strength and Mobility After Finding Your Perfect Shoe, then we'll explore how to turn that great fit into better performance. We'll talk about the key muscles that power your stride, how mobility keeps you injury-free, and practical exercises you can start today. So if you enjoyed this episode, share it with your buddies, leave us a review, and as always, run smart, run strong, and I'll see you all next time.